Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of the Combat Club. My name is Mike Owens, and joining me today on Labour Day is none other than Randy Rudeboy Brown. Randy, always good to catch up, my man. How are things with you today?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Good speaking with you. Good seeing you. It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a good year for you as well. 2-0, a
Yeah.
viral KO and a home turf type fight. I know Newark is technically New Jersey, but close enough to call it a home game. How have you looked back on what has been a good year for your career in 2024?
You know, we don't really celebrate them too much. We kind of just move on to the next one. You know what I mean? A two fight win streak in a year is not really nothing to celebrate in my book. You know what I mean? So we got work to do and looking forward to the future. That's really it.
Which fight of the two are you more satisfied with?
Oh, of course, the knockout.
Hmm.
Of course, the knockout always. Just putting somebody out cold is always a good feeling.
We were the last time we spoke, we talked about the Salikov KO, and we both agreed that if that was in front of an arena, you
Mhm.
might have had a better chance of getting knockout of the year. But the fact it's behind the apex mightn't get the credit or the love that
Yeah,
it deserves. Who do you think right now are the other contenders for knockout of the year?
knockout of the year. Hmm. Maybe Gaethje will get it. Was that this year?
Gaethje
Yeah, was that
again
this year or
against.
against Poirier?
No, that was last year. That was
Last year?
last July.
It all blends, bro.
When you said
That's it.
Gaethje, I thought you were talking about the Max Holloway KO, and I was like, that was the other guy.
Oh, Max Holloway. Yeah, so that's that 100%. That's the KO of the year right there. There it is. Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje.
You think so?
Yeah, I know so. 100%.
So if that's number one, what else comes to mind as possible second-rate contenders?
That pretty much just blows everything else out the water. How do you compete with that? You know what I mean? That's like the bar is like in outer space at this point. When I saw that, I was like, damn. I was just like, shit, how do you compete with that? How do you attempt to, break that record or put on a performance that's even close to that? And I think that'll be in the history books for a long, long time.
I've been to 3 UFC events, and UFC 300 was my last. And to see that moment live as a fan, when we get essentially one event a year, pay-per-views sometimes feel so far away for us, for the UK fans, was so special. Have you ever been in the arena for a similar moment like that, where you've just been, lost for words at a moment that another fighter's been able to reproduce?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I would say when Adesanya fought when he lost to Potan.
Powhatan, yeah.
Yeah, that first time it's like everybody was just kind of in shock, like that, you know. So that was a huge moment. I remember I went to a fight and I was just like, holy shit, everything is just the card was just producing, you know what I mean, and just the drama. It was more so the drama of the shows, you know what I
Mm.
mean, than even more so the performances. But performances were cool too, but the drama of it was insane. Um, yeah, probably that card.
Were you at any of the early MSG cards, the likes of 205, where Conor became double champ, or 217 when
No,
GSP came back?
no, no. I think the first one I fought at MSG. I want to say it was two something. It was maybe the one after that, the one after the kind of fought on there. I fought on that one. I think I fought Mickey Gall or something.
Yeah, that was
That might have
217.
been that might have been 217. Yeah.
I
So yeah,
rem I remember the history of your career better than you, Randy.
bro. I've just been in it, man. It's like a mixer at this point, bro. I've just been in it for so long, grinding. It's like it's not. I'm at the point where I don't even sensationalize it anymore. You know what I mean? That feeling is gone for me. It's just all right. What's next? We got to grind. What's next? Let's get to it. Next. So we just my head down, and I'm just trying to get better, bro. That's it.
So
Trying to
who
climb.
so who is next? I saw you say you'd fight Jeff Neal in Paris. I saw you say give me Carlos Prates next. Who is next in
Yeah,
your,
man.
in your mind?
I just want to move up. I just want to move up. I want to move forward. You know what I mean? I don't have time to waste. I mean, I've had the few slip ups I've had are to some of the best people in the world. I know that I'm one of the best people, one of the best fighters in the world. It's just give me a chance to show it. I'm ready for any top contender. I'm ready for whoever y'all think is the guy. Yeah, run them. Let's see. I know that may sound however to anybody. I don't really care. You know what I mean? How it sounds to anyone. It's like y'all think he's good. I'll fight him. Y'all think he's the guy? I'll fight him, and I'll show y'all something. That's
Did
where I'm at, right? You know.
did Prates impress you?
Yeah, for sure. Super impressive, you know. Y'all think he's him? Run it. Right? Whoever y'all think, right? I do think I deserve to fight in the rankings and fight up, but at this point, I don't care, man. I'll take on anybody and anybody that's there. I'm here for the tough fights. This is what I want. I want hard fights. I want the fights that y'all, the people that y'all, because the fans, you got to get to these dudes before while the fans think they're hot, while the fans think they're the next best thing. But you as a fighter, you see it, you see the holes, you see it. You're like, oh, all right, I could fight him. I could beat him. He ain't fighting nobody yet. Everyone's on his dick now. Let me go get him, and I'll show y'all something. That's how the best way to steal the thunder. You know what I mean? Until someone else does it, then you beat him, and they're like, he was never that good anyway. You know, it's like I hate that.
Well, the comment. We'll be back to the interview in just a second, but first, the NFL season is back, and Inside Fighting has a touchdown of a deal for you. We've partnered up with DraftKings, an official partner of the NFL, to bring you an offer where new DraftKings customers who bet $5 receive $250 in bonus bets instantly, as well as 1 month of NFL Plus Premium, just by signing up using our promo code Inside Fighting. Well, the common term now is fraud checked. If you were to fight Carlos Prates and to beat him, they'd say that you fraud checked Carlos Prates,
Yeah,
and they would discredit the win for you. And that's whatever
100%.
you think of him, that's a tough guy to beat, no matter what.
Yeah, so I hate that about MMA fans when it comes to that because you got to give people credit, you know, and he's a great fighter, you know what I mean? Just like, you know, a lot of the guys that I've fought, just like you know, every athlete in the UFC at this level, you know. So I do think that I should be fighting a ranked opponent though, but it's just tough, man. A lot of the guys are not looking to fight backwards, so it's hard to get a matchup. You know, everyone wants to move forward, and it's understandable, but sometimes you just got to continue to be undeniable, and that's what I'm looking to do.
I'm probably going to sound like some kind of lawyer or some kind of prosecutor with the receipts I'm about to bring now, but on the 12th of July, you tweeted something along the lines of "We've got a fight," and then the very next day, you tweet "Never mind." What was the story behind that? Can you talk to us about that?
We ain't even gonna get into that. We ain't even gonna get into that, bro. But that was pretty funny. But yeah, we ain't gonna get into we ain't gonna get into that.
Maybe off camera. Maybe you can tell me that off camera. Nevertheless, I did want to bring you back to another tweet that you tweeted the other day, which was the
Oh, what's up with you on Twitter? You can't take Twitter serious for me. I just be on Twitter.
I know I'm just trying to bring up different conversation points. You know me, Randy. I try to not come with the, how's camp going? What do you think of your
Yeah.
opponent? I try to come up with different things. And I saw you weren't in favor of the 12-6 rule change.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not. I'm really not. And you know, people that don't really know much about fighting are gonna have their opinion. I'm the one in the octagon. I'm the one fighting. I've been fighting for years. I'm the one doing it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of idiots online that's gonna say whatever they want to say. But I personally think it's dangerous. You know, I think that a 12-6 elbow, it may seem crazy to someone, right? But I broke it down in the tweet too. It's like, imagine you shoot in on somebody, right? You're in on a double leg, and the person just drops a 12-6 straight down accidentally to your spine. One shot, paralyzed. That's it. Now what? And it just looks crazy. Optics are just bad. Like just, I don't know. That's just me. But I don't think, and so the argument that people are coming with that is like, oh well, it's illegal to hit someone in the spine. It's illegal to do a bunch of shit in the fight that happens anyway before you get a warning, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's not, everything is not perfect. It's a scramble, it's chaos, it's a lot happening, it's fast paced. It's like you sitting at home easily be like, he's a 30 fighter. Why the fuck would he do that? It's like, bro, he's fighting. He's in a fight.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? You know, so people are gonna say whatever they want to say, and I personally disagree with the 12. I was in the minority. I think I'm in the minority with it, but a 12-6 is dangerous. I don't like it. You know, keep an angle on it. I think still, and I think that'll kind of keep, you know, like the versus the knee to the grounded opponent, and like that whole game where it's like fingers and knee, and like we need to kind of establish what the real like solidify something like, you know, what that's actually going to be. But as far as the 12-6, I don't agree with it. I don't like that 12-6 shit, but we'll see what happens.
From your perspective, how much difference is the 12-6 elbow than to say an 11-5 where there's a slight curve in the angle?
Not much in that in the it depends on where your body is, right? I
Mm.
just think that that particular position where you're shot, where you can shoot in and someone could bring an elbow, they know that. Think about it. If you know you have to bring an angle on it, there's no reason to bring an elbow straight down if someone's in on a double leg. If you know you have to bring an angle on it, angle to a person's rib with an elbow, it's like, you're not really gonna waste your time. But if you know you can just bring it straight down, you're just gonna bring that shit straight down, right? Because it's a lot easier to do. So I don't know. I think that can just cause injuries.
Are there any rules that you would like to see change in the sport?
No, I'm not. I think everything's good, bro. I think everything's good. Other than that, other than that 12-6 shit is. I'm just not a fan. And maybe I'm not articulating it properly, or
No, I think you did a very good job of articulating it because
I've
it does
I've
make sense in
I've,
that
I've
scenario.
I have thousands and thousands and thousands, possibly millions of hours on the mats. Like, I know every position that you can possibly be in. There's no fan that's gonna sit there and argue with me like how they were on Twitter. That's gonna
Mm.
tell me that I'm wrong about that. There's no one that's never done that that's gonna tell me I'm wrong about that. And I don't know. There's other fighters I've had conversation with that don't like it either, but I don't know why people are not saying anything. They just accept it, and I'm like, bro, that's mad fucking dangerous.
Mm.
That's super dangerous. But hey, just protect yourself at all times is what we do. So
That's it, 100%. Saturday night we see a big fight between Gilbert Burns and Sean Brady. I know that you've been down to Philly and spent some time with Brady at certain parts of his camp. How do you see this big one at 170 playing out?
I got Brady getting it done fairly easily. I think Brady takes him down and just mauls him on the ground.
What is a round with Sean Brady in the training room like? Tell us a little bit about what he actually feels like in there.
He's a tank, man. Sean Brady's a tank. I mean, I feel like the fight with Belal was more so, and Belal was pretty good, but I do believe that that fight was there was a lot of things behind the scene going on with
Mm.
Brady. So I think that's why that fight played out the way it played. I think if that fight actually went to the ground even one time, I feel like Brady would have just mauled him, you know. Um, but hopefully we get to see that fight get run back in the future. But training with him in the room is just that, man. Brady's a tank, man. He gets a hold of things. I mean, you could do a lot of things up until you know you get to the ground, and it's like you're gonna expend a lot of energy either trying to get back up or trying to get your submissions. And if you can't do that, you're pretty much stuck. Dude is a tank. You get some hard rounds with him for sure.
With Sean, is it a physical thing or a technique thing? I.e., is his technique so good on the ground, or is it, as you say, he's just uber strong?
A bit of both. He has great meat and potato jiu-jitsus. His jiu-jitsu is really good. You know what I mean? Super technical, but his strength is definitely an asset. You know what I mean? Look at the dude's back.
Yeah.
The dude, he's like a turtle, right?
Mm.
So, yeah, he's definitely a tank, man. He does it to all of us, man. In the room, he's for me to get a takedown on him is it's to be fair, it's pretty tough. It's tough to get.
Mm.
I'm gonna work my ass off to get it. You know what I mean? But he's he's a tank. That's all I got. Brady is a pain in the ass, and he's hard. It's frustrating to deal with, but super good. And I think that it benefits everybody in the room, and I think he's a future champion for sure. This weekend I think he runs through Gilbert Burns if he's 100%.
Have you been getting in much cross training with the likes of the guys in Philly or any other gyms? How have you been spending your time, or has it just been a home base?
No, I mean I'm in Philly a lot. You know what I mean? That's that at this point. This guy's a part of my team. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Spend a lot of time there. Uh, Other than when I'm injured, I just come back to New York and chill. But if I'm healthy and I'm training, I'm preparing. That's pretty much where I'm at. You know what I mean? So I get a lot of rounds with all the guys there. You know, so it's great work from Milshatan, Pfeiffer, Jeremiah Wells. Even the guys that you guys don't know yet that are going to be UFC fighters in the future. Um, everyone from out of camp, man, everybody. So we're getting a ton of good work and we just build it.
I love it. I have to ask you about the new champion because that was obviously a big moment for us over here, given seeing Belal Muhammad become champion in Manchester. Just your overall reaction to Belal becoming champion, and are you remembering the name?
Oh yeah, I've always remembered the name. I've always remembered the name. Shout out to Belal, man. Shout out to him. I'm actually, I was really happy for him. You know what I mean? That he became champion. I feel like a lot of people underestimate him, and it's easy to underestimate him going into a fight. And I saw that with Leon. I did it myself back in the day when we fought. You know what I
Really?
mean? And I was just like, oh, I'm gonna run through this dude. But then you realize how sticky he is when you're in there. Belal is actually pretty damn good, and I don't think he gets the credit he deserves unfairly. Um, Bilal his grappling is extremely good, and I felt it when I was in there. You know what I mean? It's like positions that you don't expect him to be able to stick to you. He does the transitions.
Mm.
He's transitioning good. He's just constantly on you, and yeah, Bilal is a deserving champion, and I don't know why the fans don't really show him the love that he deserves.
Why do you feel like people underestimate him or don't show him the love? I mean, I was on the ground in Manchester and it felt like even Leon's team, you could see from like the clips on the embedded and just the vibe in the hotel that they were kind of not fully respecting what Bilal could do like he did on Saturday. Why do you think that that's a common theme when people look at Bilal?
I don't know. It's easy to do it
Mm,
because I'll tell you a funny story. I remember I watched him shadow box, right? I just got to the UFC and I was super green. And we were backstage. I think we might have been in Albany or something. Or we were fighting on some either that or we were in New York. No, we might have been in Texas. We're somewhere. He was fighting some guy and I was fighting the opponent's brother.
okay.
Right. So we were both fighting like someone from the same camp. But I remember we were warming up in the room and I'm watching him shadow box and hit mitts and shit, and he looked fucking horrible. He looked terrible. And I looked over to my coach and I said, like, how is this dude even here? Like, what is he? This dude looks like shit.
Mm.
Right? In my mind, like, I'm in my mind, I'm like, yo, if I ever got to fight with this dude, I'll take it in a heartbeat. He's 170. I'd whoop his fucking ass, right? And then I remember my coach said to me, he said, well, Randy, I mean, you got to realize, like, this is mixed martial arts. This is not a boxing match. This is not a kickboxing match, right? So he's here for a reason. He's undefeated. It's probably because he's good at, he excels at other aspects of the game. And I'm like, I don't know. I was super young at the time. I got like one fight in the UFC or some shit. And I'm like, nah, he sucks, bro. I'm like, nah, he sucks. Man. Sure enough, my next fight, the opponent pulls out that I was scheduled to fight originally. And they offered me two guys. They offered me Belal and they offered me Lyman Good at the time.
Mm.
And at the time, Lyman Good was a former Bellator champion, all this stuff. And I'm like, Lyman's a beast, right? And I'm like, the better fight right now, let me get Belal on short notice. I'm gonna beat the brakes off him. Completely underestimated him. I already did a camp. I kind of just bullshitted, whatever, and went in to fight him. And I brought that energy into the fight. It was like, oh, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. By the time you look up, the clock's ticking, and he's winning the fight, and he's just pulling away from you, and you're getting taken down, and like, I'm gonna get up. You get back up, but it's just like, shit, I'm running out of time, and then next thing you know, you're taking an L, right? And that was a huge lesson for me. That was a huge lesson for me, never to underestimate anyone. You know what I mean? And fast forward today, to see that, it's funny when I saw him in Leon. I even said it to my coach. I was like, they're underestimating him because of the fact that the way the first fight played out as well. So that's even adds to it. And I'm like, they're underestimating him, and that's the worst thing that you could do is underestimate that dude. And sure enough, you and new.
I said to somebody on in Manchester, it felt like Leon's team were treating it, to use a boxing term, like a mandatory defense. Like
Mm.
let's get this one out the way, and then we can talk about the next
Yeah,
fight. And
100.
that felt like the vibe.
And that's the mistake. When I can see why though they did it because I mean, if you felt him the first time and you were like cooking him the first time, but no two fights are the same, man, and everything is circumstantial, So I'd say if I was on his team, I'd recommend that he stay focused and treat it as a brand new fight, and just this is a new guy. He felt you too,
Mm,
so he can make the adjustments. And I believe Bilal has some of the best fight IQ in the game.
yeah. Do you think him being champion's good for the division?
Um, when you say good for it, what do you mean?
As in, do you think in terms of there's been certainly been a question mark around Leon's activity? Do you feel like Belal will be a better champion in terms of fighting the right guys, fighting on a good time scale and keeping the division moving forward?
I mean, I don't think that's up to the fighter.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I
So
agree.
I think a lot up to the promotion. A fighter can cause, a fight not to happen by just kind of sitting out a little bit, but I think it's more so up to the promotion. And I mean, welterweights in general, bro. Welterweights don't fight. Welterweights fight so far and few in between. That's just how it is. That's just the nature of the division. So I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know that's a theme right now. Shavkat saying, him and Shavkat going back and forth online, so that's a theme that, boy, they're both inactive. No one has fought. You haven't fought since 2020, 2020. No, you haven't fought. Oh, you should fight. It's like, I don't know, man. It's not up to us. I think it's up to the promotion to make these fights.
If that fight is made, though, that's such an interesting fight because you've got a guy in Belal who primarily goes to decision, and that's just statistics.
Yeah,
Versus a guy who's never been to decision, and not only has never been to decision, but has never lost. 100% finish rate versus I think a 85% decision rate on Belal. It's like
yeah.
that unstoppable force versus a movable object debate. How do you see that fight playing out if and when it hopefully happens?
I think Belal has been more tested uh, with more caliber fighters. Belal has also been just showed more diversity. You know what I mean? I think Shavkat is just has that boogeyman allure right now,
Mm.
but we haven't seen him put in these positions. It's one thing to be dominant and just KOing people, but what happens when you're not? What happens when you can't? What
Mm.
happens when you're on your back? What happens when you're in a position where it's not going your way? What do you do?
Yeah.
And he could do all the right things, but could also not be. We've seen Belal in every situation, so I'd lean Belal in that, and I know that's kind of maybe on the minority just because of the style of Shavkat and what everyone has seen so far. But I'm gonna lean Belal in that one.
Here's a question I have for you because we've talked about hype and guys getting a lot of hype, like Shavkat and like Carlos Prates, who we talked about earlier. Who's a guy at 170 that nobody's talking about that's you've seen as who's impressed you?
What's that kid's name? He got the little ponytail thing in his back. He had a tough fight last, which wasn't, a great outcome. But if you understand a skill set and you just take away everything else, and you look at a fight for, not the result, but look at a fighter for his skill set, his overall skill set.
Nicholas
Uh,
Dolby?
no, Dalby is pretty good too, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't get the credit he deserves as well. Not Dalby. He's a newer guy. He was on a contender series, tall. I mean, incredible, great boxing, great footwork. Um, I don't know where he's from. He's from like the middle of America somewhere, Midwest or something.
Trying to
I,
think. It's
I can't remember his name. He has like a braid in it, one single braid in the back of his head, right? And it's like a fade with like a braid in the back. I forget his name, but that kid, whoever that kid, someone's gonna see this and know who I'm talking about. But sometimes when you look at fights, you got to look at a skill set and be objective and fuck the results. Don't wait for everyone else to tell you this guy is good before the company tells you this guy is good. Sometimes you can just look at it. If you know the game, you can look at it and be like, this guy has a good skill set. If he does this and that and has good coaches to do the right things, this dude could be something. Yeah, Barlow. There it is, Barlow.
Danny
Something Barlow.
Barlow.
Yeah, Danny
Yeah.
Barlow. That I like that dude's skill set. He has a decent skill set, and his stand up is pretty good. His last fight was tough. I watched it, but still, you recognize skill. Skill recognize skill. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he's impressive to me.
Well, last question from me, Randy. Thank you so much for your time as always. We talked about 2024 being a good year for you, but a year where you continue to do what you do and where you don't, pat yourself on the back too much. So if we're at the start of September 2024, where would you like to be come the start of September 2025?
Um, Getting a ranked opponent
Mm.
this year,
That
getting
feels like the
ranked.
challenge for you at the moment is just getting that ranking fight.
And it's a small thing, but it's just so annoying because it's like, look at my body of work. I mean, I'm 7-1 in my last 8 fights. I've only lost to, the guy who's like number 3 or number 4 right now. And, just look how that fight was going before I got caught. So if you recognize the skill set for what it is, I know where I'm headed. I just need the matchups, man. I just need somebody to give me a fight. That's really it, because I know I can beat these guys. I know I can. I'm one of the best in the world. It's just a matter of me getting an opportunity to go out there and show it right now. So I think I get one more before the year is out. We're in the talks right now, trying to figure that out. So after I get this one, hopefully I'll be ranked by the end of the year. And then next year we just get things moving. Top 10, you know?
Is the one that you're talking about now a guy with a number next to his name or a guy without a number next to his name?
We'll see. We'll
We'll
see.
see.
It depends on how things go. Because, you know, sometimes you got to be undeniable, you know, because the guys at the top, sometimes they're not always willing to fight down or give someone a shot because it's a risky fight, especially me. I'm high risk, low reward, I feel, for some guys, you know? So it's like they're gonna take the opportunity elsewhere. Like, for instance, look at Jeff Neal, right?
Mm.
You're gonna fight Randy Brown or you're gonna fight Rafael dos Santos, both unranked.
Mm.
What fight you gonna take as a welterweight?
I'm going to take the former lightweight champion.
Yeah, you're gonna take the former lightweight champion, right? The bigger.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense. It just makes sense. So I get it. I'm not faulting anybody for turning down fights, but it is what it is. All right. So my job is to, do I want to sit out and wait and see how these fights play out and maybe try to snag something? I want to stay active. I don't have time to waste, bro. I need to get going. So if it's somebody that doesn't have a ranking, maybe we'll see. If it makes sense, let's get it. You know, if it's something that's gonna, you know, still potentially push me up or get some buzz, I'll do it. You know, at the end of the day, I need to get paid. Family got to eat. Bills got to get paid. You know, so I'm with whatever at this point. I'm confident that I could beat anybody in the world, so it don't matter to me.
I love it. Well, Randy, always good catching up, my man. Thank you so much for the time, especially on your public holiday. So I really do appreciate it even more than I would have already. Have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing the next one booked and look forward to catching up with you when that fight announcement is confirmed, my friend.
All right, my man. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you for having me.